It's a warm welcome and super greeting to every one of you joining us on a different platform. Might I remind you, this is We Table It, and we do it every weekend just to spice up your weekend. For those of you joining us live on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitter, you're welcome to today's program, which promises to be very educating, enlightening, and super juicy. And you know how we do it. If it gets extra juicy, we might go past a little bit more than the 1 hour mark. All right. I'd like to encourage you, if you haven't followed us on any of our platforms, you may want to do that now so you can get notified if we've got anything for you, like these are live shows that we do on the weekend. We've got a number of videos out there on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page, Instagram, and across many of the social media platforms. We've talked about topics that range from autism in Africa, leadership in Africa, violence against men, how much do you know your roots, personal finance planning, why Africa is poor, and nurturing your business. I mean, there's just a ton of videos out there that you can educate yourself with. I would also, at this point, want to introduce our co-host, Valerie, who is a marketing specialist, and Enor, who's going to be joining us pretty soon, and Boniface, who is always at the back end making things happen for us. Okay, so because we do not have so much time in our hands today, we've got a very busy guest on our platform today, and we don't want to take so much of our time because she's got so many other things to be doing with her time. I mean, this is the weekend, and a lot of things happen on the weekend. So today we will be discussing about eye health in the digital age, and we're focusing on the impact of screen time on the eye health. And I'll tell you a bit about why I decided to come up with this topic for the conversation today. Uh, I use glasses, all right, and this has been way back. I'm not putting it on today because there's a bit of reflection on it, and I'm not so comfortable doing that. So I sometime in the middle of last year. Um, I noticed I wasn't seeing so clearly anymore. I'm short-sighted, so I'm comfortable seeing things close to me. But all of a sudden, I noticed that when I want to read, I can't see the words so clearly before. And I was wondering, why is this happening to me? I didn't want to believe that my eyes were going bad. All right. I immediately jumped to the conclusion that something was wrong with my glasses. I put the blame on my glasses, and I used the popular word that many laymen will use. I said, okay, maybe the lens, they're weak now. I need to change the lens. And I kept postponing, and to see if it was a temporary thing, but it wasn't. And it was getting in between a lot of things. Particularly my work. So I made a short journey somewhere to give a talk, and while in the middle of doing last minute shopping at the mall and dashing down to the airport to return after the talk, I saw I mean, a shop where, they were selling glasses, eyeglasses. I was like, okay, why don't I use this opportunity to change my eyeglass? Because I still believe that the problem was the glasses, not my eyes. And so I went into the shop and I told them I was going to catch a flight shortly. I didn't want to miss the flight, but I needed a change of glasses. And they told them, no, that's not how we do it. We need to get you checked first. I said, no, this is my glasses. Just check the power and do some few check and just give me something stronger. How silly was I? Okay. They said, no, I'm sorry. This is not the way we do it. Why don't you take your time, catch your flight some other time you see us? I said, no, I want this. And the reason was that there was a promo going on and I wanted to cash in on it. All right. So They checked the glasses and they offered to check my eyes as they routinely will do. And they checked it and they said, well, the power of your current glasses is not the same as what we're seeing now. And we can't give you a new one. However, we want to do some more tests. I was like, no, stop at this. Just give me what you can give me from this check you did, the preliminary check. And there was a lot of back and forth, but they succumbed and they gave me the glasses. I was so happy. I grabbed it and I dashed to the airport. I was able to catch my flight. And then I made it to base and I was so glad. I mean, it was a designer frames. I was so glad to put it on and get my life back. But would you know that I picked up a book and I still could not read clearly as I used to? And it dawned on me that something was wrong with my eyes. Yeah. I mean, it changed my thinking. And I would want to say that the major implication was the amount of time I spent in front of the screen. I wouldn't want to bore you with the remaining details of having to go back to get a proper check. And now I have the proper glasses, which embarrassingly is supposed to take care of short-sightedness, long sight. I mean, this is a progressive lens. It reminds me that I'm old now. So that was the beginning of this topic. Without spending much more time, ladies and gentlemen, and our esteemed viewers and cherished guests, it is with great honor and profound excitement that I want to use this opportunity to welcome our guest on stage. She is the remarkable Dr. Maureen Oyade Ofeno, as you can see. I would like to say some few things about her. You know, she is a beacon of inspiration and expertise, and she dons many remarkable hats. First of all, she's an optometrist, which shows her expertise in these two delicate things that you can see. She's a visionary therapist, a captivating children's book author, a beacon of motivation, and a cherished mentor to aspiring professionals in the medical team. And she's founded her own practice, which is the Vine Eye Care, and that makes her stands as a paragon of dedication and innovation, enriching the visual landscape in Canada, where she's based, and currently globally, wherever you're joining us from. And so her unparalleled commitment to eye health and holistic being is what we're going to be tapping from today. And moreover, through her enlightening teachings on identity, nutrition, and intricate interplay between mind and body, she illuminates the paths to vitality and self-discovery. That is just a bit about our guest. And perhaps when we, allow her to admonish us, she can tell us a bit about her books and where we can get them for purchase. And I mean, every other thing that she does that we can, tap from. So it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Dr. Maureen Oyade Ofeno to the Coffee Chatter today.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Osaru Aigogun. It's such a pleasure to be here and just share my experience and help out in every way I can. I love the story you just shared because I get that a lot. Yeah, it's a very common experience where people insist on getting the same prescription, and then we say, no, you should get your eyes tested first. So it's interesting you would experience the same thing. But yeah, thanks for having me here.
You're welcome. Maureen, can we just, I've talked about you, but I would say in one or two sentences, who would you say you are?
I am a mom, an optometrist, an author, a vision therapist, uh, I guess a mentor, and also very passionate about teaching you on your identity and helping you identify how unique you are. My motto is unique fingerprints, unique you. You don't have to compare yourself with anyone else. You work on being the best at what you do, and you always see yourself as progressing. So I go around trying to encourage kids around me, especially the children, so they know that they are unique and they can do whatever they set their mind to. I do that in my office when I see patients, and I also do that when I mentor the high school kids that work under me. And today, I'm happy to say we've had a lot of kids who are going to go into the medical field experience that, unique journey through just watching me in the clinic while I see patients. So, yeah, that's in summary.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I heard things that I've never known you to be, which is quite refreshing, I
Hmm.
must. But I mean, taking a look at what you do and taking a look at your profile, I see that you also write books. I mean, I would be tempted to ask, how do you find the time to write books? And from the title, I can see that you write books for children,
Yeah.
which means that you spend an extra time trying to conceptualize it in such a way that children will not only find it educative, but also motivating and interesting. How do you get to do that?
So I have a very understanding family. I'm a mom to two boys, and I have my husband, and they're very understanding and they help me out in any way they can, and that helps me have that balanced life. But I always go around with a book in my hand so that when I get ideas, I'm writing and I'm just writing and reflecting. And that's how I find the time to write. Because for the kids, I try to make books with words that actually rhyme. So that's a lot because I want the kids to really engage and like what they read and be curious to just understand. At the same time, help their poetry where the words rhyme and they can understand what they're reading. So my first book was called A to Z on How I See, and it teaches you, basic concepts of how the eye works and how you actually see with your whole body, not just your eyes, because even your hearing is connected to, your eye movements left to right. And if you want to see really good, you have to be well balanced, which is also connected to your hearing. So
All
with
right.
my book, the kids can actually see that relationship with the eyes and general well-being, and also understand the impact that sleep has on your general health, and also understand that if they can struggle, I mean, if they have any difficulty seeing, especially when they cover one eye,
All right.
they should let their parents know, let the teachers know, and not put up a show. That's a little line from my book.
Let the parents know, let the teachers know, and not put up a show.
Yep.
To be quite honest, I think I did try to put up a show when I was still very young. I was at the time fascinated with some of my mates who put on glasses. I
Hmm.
wasn't up to 10 then, I think 7 or 8. And in a summary, I did try to put up a show just to get the glasses, but it didn't work. My
We
parents,
always have a way of catching you.
it didn't work at all. And I was very angry with the eye doctor because, I mean, I tried everything I could, but he seemed to, I think he was smart. I'd like
Yeah.
to put it that way. All right. So, I mean, very interesting books. Where can we get your books to purchase if we want to, have a copy?
So it's currently being sold on Amazon.ca. And I could
All
also share the link on your Instagram handle because we have an Instagram handle as well
right.
that takes you directly to the Amazon page where you can buy the book.
All right. Yeah, sure. And I think you can also, if you post it here, then it can be visible across all our platforms on
Yes.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. So
Yeah.
you can share on the banner. Do you have a copy of the book with you?
Oh, it's not with me right now because I'm out of the country. It's back in Canada.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right then. That's fine. So yeah. So it's on Amazon.ca, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. So it's going to be put up very shortly. Okay. So Maureen, I would like us to go directly into the subject matter of today and see how the teaming viewers out there can be better educated on this very, I would say it's a silent, creeping, poisonous phenomenon going out there that we cannot escape from. Almost every day of our life is spent in front of a screen, and not necessarily our computers, even our mobile phones. Okay, so I mean, we need to be very conscious of this silent evil that is living with us. And I think in the next 30 to 40 minutes, we will be able to get some information that I would want to say will be life changing. First of all, Dr. Maureen, I'd like to ask you, um, how does a prolonged screen time affect the eyes? I mean, this is if we agree it does affect the eye. I mean, you might be of the opinion as the expert that it doesn't affect the eye, but if it does affect the eye, how does it do that?
So,
And are there any specific risks associated with it?
yeah, so prolonged screen time definitely affects your eyes. I mean, it's common if you look at the fact that when you're on a screen, you sometimes forget to blink, which could also make your eyes go dry. And then when
Right.
your eyes get dry, your brain produces reflex tearing because the eyes are not meant to stay dry. And that's why your eyes might feel dry, but they actually look like they're wet. That's just because your brain has stimulated reflex tearing. So if you constantly stare at your screen and you're especially engaged in what you're doing, you're not blinking as often as you should. So that's leading to symptoms of dry eyes. That's number one. Number two, the constant focusing on that close up distance can make your short sightedness get worse. Because if you keep just habitually looking at that close distance without taking a break, you might end up like getting your myopia increase. And you see that happening where your prescription changes often, right? You could also get headaches or blurry vision, especially if you're not corrected for your prescription. I've
Okay.
had people tell me, "Oh, I didn't think I had to wear glasses, but when I started using my screen, I suddenly feel like I now need glasses. I think the screen made my eyes, made me now need glasses." And I say, no, there's a possibility you had that prescription before. You just
Yeah.
were not doing close work, so you didn't feel the need to wear your glasses. But now that you're constantly on the screen, not wearing your glasses that you should be wearing, then you get the screen. So it's like a chicken and the egg. Screen time can make your prescription get worse. It could cause
Uh-huh.
eye strain. Okay. It could also cause watery eyes, which means your eyes are dry. Remember, that's the irony. It's watery because they're dry. When
Uh-huh.
it's dry, it will become itchy as well. So lots of rubbing. So the answer is yes. So prolonged screen time does affect your eyes in general.
Okay. Okay. All right. So when we talk about prolonged screen time, how do we define it in terms of the 24-hour daily time?
Okay,
Do
so
we,
yeah, sorry about that, Sarah.
no, 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 it's fine. You can go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So prolonged screen time. I mean, the American Association of Optometry and even the Canadian group have come up with the theme 20-20-20. So we just say after 20 minutes, take a 20-second break and look 20 feet away, right? So we're saying if you have to study for an hour, for example, every 20 minutes on the hour, you're taking that break to just stare at the distance and then, take a break before you come back to your activity. So that's what I'll classify as taking breaks while you're studying, right? So prolonged screen time again it varies, but as long as you're following the 20-20 rule, you'll be okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hearing that for the first time, and
Oh, okay.
that's
You
a
know
take.
what? You know how we say you have 20-20 vision? So you're never going to forget this, right? I mean, in some parts of the world, we say 6-6 vision, but in North America, we say 20-20. So I
All
like
right.
that it's so simple to remember. So 20-20 vision, for every 20 minutes, you look 20 feet away, and take a 20-second break. Yeah.
20 second, right?
Yes, 20-second break.
All right. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's fine. I want to remind our viewers that you can drop in any comments or questions in whatever platform you are, and Dr. Maureen will be able to address them before the show is over. Uh, so I'd like to ask a question here, and I'm not so sure how to ask it, but I would like to say this prolonged screen time we're talking about. I mean, I have a daughter who is almost glued to her iPad whenever she is with it. Okay, sometimes we don't
Yeah.
let her, but she can't stay with it for 24 hours. And I'm not so sure how dangerous that is. But when we talk about screen time and the strain on the eye, is there a difference in the impact it has between the children and the adult eye?
Uh, I would say it depends because at the end of the day, the eye is the eye, and you can still get, the dryness and everything I explained earlier. But for children, we're finding more of an increase in the myopia for the kids. And also because when they're on the screen, they're not spending enough time outdoors, so they're not getting that UV that the eye needs to just help with growth and development. So the studies are showing that especially for kids, we need to encourage outdoor time so they can actually be out there playing, get the UV protection they need, of course, wearing their sunglasses as well. But that actually helps with the brain and the eye development and prevents myopia from getting worse,
I
right?
see.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're aware, but Apple has a screen distance feature that just came out, I believe, early this year or last year, where you can actually, yeah, if your child has the iPad or the phone really close, you get a warning,
All
and
right.
until you pull away, you're not able to carry on with what you were doing. So have that feature turned on my phone and on my kids' iPad as well. So that prevents them from being so close, right? And then you
Okay.
can also set a timer so that they get logged out because after 20 minutes, they should be getting that 20-second break and looking
Oh,
20 feet away.
oh, you just to, I mean, satisfy my curiosity. The 2020 rules also apply to children.
Yes, it does.
Wow,
I know.
a lot of new things today.
Yes,
Okay,
it
so
does.
2020 to children too. All right, that's interesting, very much. But let me say here, for those of us who were not opportune to have this information, you know, in our childhood and up until now, even our adulthood, um, it means that we have, knowingly or unknowingly, ignorantly exposed our eyes to a lot of, strain. But I would like to ask you, I know you've said a bit about this previously, but we want to go direct. What are the symptoms we should be looking out for that would tell us that our eyes, has gone through, I mean, common symptoms
Mhm.
of this digital eye strain?
Okay, so we're getting headaches. Headaches,
Headaches.
especially on the side of your head and the frontal part, like you feel that side ache more. And the headaches are usually worse at the end of the day because then you've used your eyes. So the headaches you get when you wake up first thing in the morning, that's not from digital strain. We're talking about end of day headaches, frontal in location or temporal. That's one. Number two, we have the watery eyes. So your eyes feel kind of watery and itchy. Okay, and then number three, we have the eye strain, which could kind of, your eyes sometimes might feel a little bit like reddish. At the end of the day, they feel kind of dull. So that's another symptom. And number four,
Okay,
if you get itching from the dryness.
I see.
And all of this happens at the end of the day. It's very important. I'm emphasizing end of the day because it's after prolonged use of your digital device. And if you probe further, I've had patients that I ask, did anything change in your work environment? And they go, oh, yeah, I now work more on my computer because in the past I did more field work, right? And then
Yeah.
they're like, now that I work on my computer, I'm getting this burning sensation. And the description dry eyes, like I said, could also come with that itching, burning, redness, watery eyes, and blurry vision.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people are, conversant with the blurry vision. I am after prolonged exposure to the screen. But many of these things are, in order not to get confused, I would like to ask, are these symptoms primarily associated with prolonged screen time, or it is associated with different eye issues or eye problems?
Yes, so it could be from screen time or a combination of other issues. An example of that is you could have dry eyes if the glands on your lower and upper lid that produce the oily base for your tear film has been affected, right? With age, some people lose the gland on the lower lid and the upper lid, and that
Right.
gland produces the oily base of the tear film that prevents quick evaporation. So if your glands are kind of atrophied, you're going to also have dry eyes. So at that point, you're going to be getting the strain from the screen, causing dryness, but you're also having dryness because your tear evaporates quicker. So that's like two things happening at the same time. So the dryness may not come from just your screen, but it could also be worse either a lady in her late 40s and you're going through menopause because they get dryness as well, right? So
All
that's
right.
one factor.
Okay.
Oh, the other factor too is that genetics, right? So if you have a family history of myopia and your mom and your dad are myopic, right? And then you're doing screen time excessively as well, that's
All right.
already three factors. So you're more likely going to have a high myopia because it's already in your genetics. And now you've changed your environment and you're doing stuff to increase the myopia even more, right?
Oh,
Yeah. So there are other factors that play a role in, stuff like this.
all right. So that's the expert, Dr. Maureen, talking in her own words. All right. So, Maureen, we've got viewers from diverse background, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure many of them will be picking up their Google or dictionary to find out what myopic means. So,
Oh, okay.
so you may want to, at this point, break it down a little bit more.
Okay. So myopia just means we say you're short-sighted. It just means that you can't see far away. So you have the advantage of seeing things really close up, but difficulty seeing things far away, and you may need glasses to drive. Not every short-sighted or myopic patient needs glasses to drive, but sometimes they need glasses to drive so they can see better. So what I am saying is that children who have a family history of short-sightedness, especially your mom and your dad, I forget the percentage, but I believe it's more than 50% chance that you might get it.
All right.
And if you now add the screen time as well to that, that's even tripling the fact that you're going to get myopia and it's going to increase with prolonged screen time.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. All right. I think we got a couple of comments here. Well, the first is from, Destiny. You're welcome to the show. She says, "Wow, I never knew Apple has that feature. I mean, I'm hearing it for the first time too, and I have got a lot of association with Apple. But knowing that they have this feature right now is pretty reassuring, and I would say that's one step in the right direction."
True.
Okay, Boniface says, "Working from home has made me spend a lot of time on the screen. Now I understand how long I should take breaks." Yeah, yeah, correct. Thank you, Dr. Mori. Now we see that work from home is no more just a phenomenon. It is something that we have come to live with. I mean, a lot of people will be, undertaking hybrid work these days, and some purely working from home. And you definitely cannot dissociate them from screen time because they've got objectives to meet, they've got tasks to deliver, so they'll just be in front of their screen. And your 2020 rule will definitely serve as a wake-up call. I'm definitely going to be, taking that rule as a central part of my life now because of the amount of time I spend in front of the screen. So yeah, but if it's yeah, that's a good one. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people share the same sentiments as you do. Okay, Dr. Morin, I was going to add something. I was going to ask you a question while you talked about genetics. And age is another variable that we cannot entirely run away from when we look at different aspects of our lives. I'd like to ask you, is age a primary factor in how bad the eyes can be or go, or how deteriorated the eyes can go in front of the screen?
Yes, so age is a factor. There's a part of the eye called the lens that, as we get older, it loses its elasticity. Okay. So at that point, you're not able to focus, constrict and expand like you used to do in the past. So that affects how well you can see things close up, especially at your screen distance, right? Like you said earlier on, when you had to get glasses because you couldn't really see close up. That's an example of that. So at that stage, for an adult, you're going to find that you need glasses more for your near work. But here's the catch, though. It's not screen time causing you to now wear glasses. No, it's the fact that as we get older, the lens in the eye is not as plastic as it used to be. It's
I
now
see.
more rigid and not able to, like expand and, converge like you used to. So that's what we call presbyopia when you need reading glasses. And that's why, again, most people in their 40s finally realize that they can't see things close up. And then I hear people say, oh, I believe the screen time has damaged my eyes. No, we did not damage your eyes. That's a natural process that happens to some people where you now need reading glasses. So, yes, for adults, you need reading glasses, specifically computer progressive glasses that would give you that benefit of a wide range of view in your intermediate vision and also your close up vision. So that way you can type and go back and forth on your screen easily while you're wearing your glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my world, my current world. I mean, it was a big deal trying to get used to the different vision.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have to do that. But Maureen, I'd like to take you up again on this age. This time around, I want you to be more specific.
Okay.
So, I mean, at what age do you think? I mean, at what age is this issue more predominant? I'm talking about when the elasticity of the eyes. I mean, the
Yes.
eyes become as plastic as it used to. What age should we be looking at?
I'm going to say that when back in 2007, when I finished optometry school, we always thought it was just for those in their 40s. But after practicing for over 15 years, the trend is changing. We're actually seeing people in their late mid 30s to late 30s now starting to need these glasses earlier than we expected. And I'm not quite sure why, but as a doctor, we treat a patient that has symptoms that can be treated, right? So all I know is if I had to give a guess, I would say from like 35 and above. But 10
Wow,
years ago, I would say, I mean, 20 years ago, I'll probably say 40 and above. But from as early as 35, we're getting people needing glasses for reading.
wow.
Yeah.
I'm a lot into business now, and I'm almost thinking about going to the university again to study optometry. Just doing the numbers in my head, and wow, I was smiling to the banks. Right, so as Teddy, I mean, oh wow, it is definitely an important public health concern if
It
we're
is.
talking about 30 and above.
Hmm.
Okay. In your practice, I mean, this is just a bit off topic. In your practice, what would you say has been the most challenging thing to deal with?
Do you mean like with regards to patients management or just in general or running a business?
No, okay, yeah, all right.
You know
You're
what I asked? You talked about business, right? And then we're talking
yeah,
about, yeah, so what are we?
all right, yeah. So the Dr. Marine with different hats, okay. All right, I time for me to be specific. I'm talking about practice with patients.
Okay.
Yeah, what
Hmm.
has been the most challenging part? Your practice is primarily physically located in Canada, am I correct?
Yes, yes, it
Right.
is.
So, I mean, that means that you'll probably be given experience from Canada or any other place you've worked for, but
Yeah.
you've seen a lot of patients. What
Yes.
has been the most challenging part about having to deal one-on-one with patients with eye problems?
So I haven't really had any challenges, honestly. What I would say is I'm not even able to cater to the people who need eye health. I mean, eye care, because I'm in a rural area and I'm the only one in that location, and we're booking out actually into we're booking into 6 months right now, and we're trying to get people to come to the rural area to help out. So my main difficulty is attracting new doctors to the area to come and help out because we're now having to turn down new patients, right? So that is the problem we're having. But as regards to like, keeping up with the eye care, we are able to, but for the first time in 6 years, we've had to stop accepting new patients. And it breaks my heart because I hear the phone ring and I hear, are you taking new clients? And we're like, we're so sorry, not at this time because we're booking into 6 months, right? And yeah. So we are, currently looking for an associate to come join us, and that's another thing why I really wanted to encourage the high school kids in my area by having a mentorship program. And I'm happy to say that right now we've mentored about 7 kids. Of the 7 of them, we have 3 right now. One of them is going to start optometry school in September, and the other
Wow.
2 are already in optometry school, while one of them is going to go to medical school. Yeah.
This
Yeah, so
is
we encourage them to know because we have 2 high schools in our area. So we're like, guys, we need doctors back in the area. So it's actually working, and the high school kids are getting inspired.
Did I hear you say you have to turn down patience?
I do. That's the sad thing.
All right. You're not going to tempt me to ask you for your account balance. Okay. I'm not going to fall for that temptation now. That's, I mean, that's the goal of many aspiring business owners to be able to turn. But of
Not
course,
really. We want
this
to
is
expand.
yeah, of course. Tell me something I don't know. All right, okay, that's interesting. Really very interesting. But I want to flip this coin
Mhm.
and ask you, what would you say has been or is the most interesting part of the practice for you? And by this, I'm directly meaning dealing with patients.
Okay, I have a very good one, and it's something that you will never forget when I tell you to.
I'm all
It's an
ears.
amazing story. So imagine you have uh, an 11-year-old girl coming to get her eyes tested. You look at her and you have her read the chart, and she's reading like she can't see half of the chart. What she should be seeing, she's just seeing the bigger letters, right? And you tell this child you need glasses, and they tell you, no, I don't need glasses.
Oh,
Because to them, they see what they see, right? So
yeah.
both eyes, especially when both eyes have the same prescription, right? So this girl is arguing with you that I don't need glasses. The mom understands she needs glasses because the mom is also short-sighted and knows that this child needs glasses. We
All right.
say, don't worry, pick a frame you like. She does, she picks the frame, and guess what? I happen to be there to give her her first pair of glasses. That look, the expression on her face when she finally sees what she's missing. Oh my goodness. That's the thing that makes me smile every day I get up to go to the office, just to make that difference in a child who thinks, I see just fine. I don't know what you're talking about. Then they put on the first pair of glasses and they're like, oh my, that's what I'm supposed to be seeing? They actually say that. I'm supposed to see that? So I've had that happen. That aha moment happened to a girl in her, I mean, her 11th year, another boy who was 10. And for the boy who was 10, it was a beautiful story because this boy was a hockey goalie
Okay.
and he always thought he was already a good player. Guess what? Guess who wears his glasses now to play hockey? He does. And he
Really?
told me, yeah, because he thought he could see, right? Again, same prescription in both eyes. So, Dr. Ibogun, you need to understand that if you have two different prescriptions, it's easy to do this and go, Mom, I don't see clearly when I cover one eye. But then when both eyes have the same prescription, you see what you see. Everything is hazy. So to you, that's normal, right?
All
So if
right.
you're not getting your eyes tested every year, you think you see fine. So he was arguing with me that he's a great hockey player. So I
Okay.
can only imagine how amazing it's going to be because he was already a good hockey player and he was the goalie, which means he wasn't seeing the puck coming all along, right?
Oh, all right.
Anyway, that's what I live for. And that's what has been my best moment ever. I've been an optometrist and having to see these kids put on their glasses, especially the pre-teenagers, because they're very descriptive. Like the
Okay.
babies just smile, but the teenagers like they express and they're like, oh, "Is that what I'm supposed to see?" So
Oh
that's the
no.
moment I live for, and that has been my best moment ever.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Mhm.
I can relate with it, and I can see a number of viewers saying the same thing. We can all relate to that moment, and I think it's pure joy and fulfillment to cause that significant part of, I mean, to impact someone's life that significantly. I would
Yeah.
like to. I know our time is running out with you. You need to, be some other places, and we're just getting it into the very juicy part. And I'm pretty sure everybody can relate to this. But you know what? There is a part of healthcare that you find the medics associating some diseases to. And I want to talk about sleep. Is there any effect on sleep when we've got a lot of exposure to our screens?
Yes. I want to say that there's this whole rave about blue light and the effect on our sleep. And the answer is yes, there is. And we actually get blue light even from the sun as well, right? But studies have shown that, blue light really affects your sleep pattern and your sleep reading. And that's why we're encouraging kids not to be on their devices 2 hours before bedtime. So this is something that even my pediatrician has said to me, not to allow my kids be, and the same thing that optometrists are spreading as well. that there is an effect of blue light that we get from our screens on the sleep pattern for kids and adults because it does affect and disrupt our sleep pattern.
I see. I see. Okay, let me take up you up on this part. For the last three glasses I've used, I remember the optometrist telling me that it would be better since I do a lot of things in front of my screen to get lenses that can shut up the blue light.
Okay.
So my question is, if I have lenses that can shut up the blue light like I'm putting on now, do I still need to follow the 2020 rule?
Oh, yes, you do.
Really?
Yes. Because you remember how I said sometimes when you're staring at the screen, you forget to blink? So when
Oh,
you're engaged, yes, and you need to blink to maintain that, tear film stability. So it's not just the blue light, it's you not blinking, it's you engaged in what you're doing. You're not moving, your eyes are just popped open that way. You will get a digital eye strain from not blinking enough. And you
okay.
can't really control and know if you're blinking enough, but if you're actively engaged in that activity, I bet you're not going to blink as much as you should. And we don't want you to wait until your eyes turn red and itchy. Trust me, you don't want to get that dryness. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. You want to
All
actually
right.
be proactive. So, despite the fact that you have your blue light glasses, you need to take that break.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. I see. All right. I know your time is up with us, Dr. Maureen. It's been a pleasure. But please, one more question, and I'll
Yes, yes,
invite my
let's go.
co-host to jump in if you can allow us. All right. Next
Yeah.
few minutes. All right. We got a comment here. Uh, in our from Destiny. All right. Thank you. In our school district, they do the eye test for all the kids beginning fourth grade and then yearly. What would you say? Is this a good practice or this is showmanship? What would you say about this?
I think fourth grade is definitely late. Here in Canada, we encourage at 6 months of when a child is 6 months to get an eye exam, and then we say every year. And of course, when they start school, they get some local guys come in to screen, right? But
Okay.
we start as early as 6 months. So
All right.
because for us, a fourth grade child should be about 9, so that's definitely too late. We want to start earlier.
Okay. And I think Destiny was referring to the US there. All right. So it
Yeah,
means perhaps there are different policies
yeah.
regarding this issue. Are there any dietary, food or supplements that can help us alleviate? Oh, it's this is coinciding with the next question. There's another question coming from Destiny. Do you recommend eye vitamins?
Yes, I do. So they're called antioxidants, and I definitely recommend, especially if you have a family history of what we call macular degeneration. So there are supplements out there that would, increase the antioxidants, the lutein, the xanthine, zinc, because all of that can actually help keep the macula healthy. So I
Okay.
definitely recommend that too. Yeah. And as well as, getting your vitamins in check, because I also do a bit of ocular wellness and nutrition
All right.
advocacy. So I'm very strong on nutrition. And
All right.
omega 3 for me is a big deal. Omega 3 not only helps your tear glands here, it also helps your brain health. And it's just generally good for visual and retinal development. So if your kids are taking regular vitamins, make sure you have omega 3 added on. But
All
above all, I always recommend seeing a naturopath to do a good blood work to see what vitamins you're lacking and also to get a good nutrition check, especially for our kids and even for kids that have that are neurodiverse too, right? Because you mentioned about your talk on autism in your previous talk. I know you talked about autistic kids.
Yeah.
So I'm very passionate about that too as well. So nutrition for me and eye health is so key, and I'm glad Destiny asked that question about vitamins because that's a strong one for me.
And are these available over the counter or it
Yes.
has to be by prescription?
Nope, they're over the counter. There's a lot out there, but I want you to be careful because some of them are specifically for people who have macular degeneration, like a history of that. So there are generic eye vitamins that have like the lutein and everything else. You
All
can
right.
take that. But if you have macular degeneration or your optometrist has indicated that you have signs of it, you need a different formulation. And it's based on a scientific study called the ARED study. So you need to get that. So just see your optometrist, and if they do a retina scan and you are at risk for macular degeneration, don't just take any over-the-counter vitamins, just specific ones
All
made
right.
for macular degeneration. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, finally. Van, we've got another question here from Joy. What about eye drops for dryness? Do you recommend that?
Oh, yes, I do. So now I don't think I mentioned, but I also have dry eyes too. So my go-to that has really worked for me are the dry eye drops without preservatives in them. Because for some people, yeah, the preservatives in them can be even, make your dry eyes get even worse, like it can be harsh. And because you can't really test to see if you're sensitive to a specific preservative, typically recommend artificial teardrops without preservatives in them.
Can you go over that again? Artificial teardrops, or what did you say?
Yeah, artificial teardrops that lack preservatives in them. So they are called preservative-free
Okay.
artificial teardrops. Now, the reason why I can't give a specific brand is what we have in Canada might be different from what you have in the States or in Nigeria or whatever continent you're calling from. But if you can just verify that the drops you're buying are artificial teardrops without the preservatives in them, right? So
Yeah.
that's generally what I use for dry eyes. But there are also specific clinics that run a dry eye spa,
Oh,
tell you the specific type of dry. Yep, there are different types of dry
that's,
eyes. Yep, there is a dry eye spa. So I'll tell you, things are really changing. I mean, a dry eye spa will check to see if the glands. Remember, I talked about the glands on your lower and upper lid. There's some glands down on the lash line right here that produce the oily base of your tear film.
all right.
So if those glands get clogged, you're not going to produce that oily base that prevents quick evaporation of the tears, right? So if you don't produce enough, what happens? Your tears dry up quickly.
I
And that
see.
means you have to blink all the time. You're blinking, blinking, blinking. You're going to have a poor tear quality and poor tear quantity.
I see.
So at the dry eye spa, they have specific things that could provide heat to open up the glands here. So
All
they
right.
give you that, or you could do the heat application manually,
Okay.
right? But I also recommend getting that done so you know the specific type of dry eye that you have, so you treat it the proper way.
I see. Wow.
Yeah,
A lot of first time things I'm
I
hearing.
know. Oh, if you don't mind, I want to add something about the dry eyes because, again, being a lady, one of the things I did that has made me become a dry eye patient was the eyeliner. So I would always put my eyeliner down on the lash line, and guess what I was doing? I was blocking those glands without knowing. This was before optometry school. So for the ladies out there, please, 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 when you want to do your liner underneath your globe, be very careful not to block the lash line. You don't have to go so inward. Just stay on the edge and you'll be fine. Or just wear a mascara. Because that's how most ladies end up getting those glands clogged, right? And that could lead to dry eye in the future. Just a
All
tip.
right. Oh, okay. Everybody's just jumping in with different questions, and
Okay,
I
I
know
need
Andres
time.
has to leave.
No,
I'm
I
so
can
sorry
give you time.
we're stretching.
Osai.
Yeah. All
Osai,
right. So please, 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 a few more minutes, Dr.
yeah,
Morin. Really
it's fun.
appreciate that. I know that our co-hosts want to give some comments and ask you some questions. Let me give them the mic, okay,
Okay,
Dr.
no
Morin.
problem.
Just a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So a lot of people. All right. And for those of you with us on YouTube, yeah, just drop your comments. We'll attend to them. If not now, but later on. Okay. And for those of you who are not going to be watching this live, and you've got a question or two, you may want to drop them directly on our page. We'll send them across to Dr. Maureen. Also the link to purchase our book, we have it here in the comment. I'd like it to be put on a banner. You can purchase it directly on Amazon. Yeah, Valerie. Yeah, all right, there. It's on your screen where you can purchase her book. Valerie, you have something to say. You may go ahead and jump in.
Yes, thank you. First, I've really enjoyed listening to you both and learning a lot. So, my question is for myself. Currently, I believe my vision is 2020. I've never had any check done, but I've never felt any strain looking at things close or far. And so, for somebody in my position, when do we know that we might possibly have challenges with our eyesight? What would the indicator be?
Yes. So one of the things you might discover is at the end of an 8 or 7 hour day when you're at the office, you start to get like a feel of a headache where the frontal part of your head starts to ache you, or the side, you get that pain there, right? And it might actually go with some Advil or Tylenol, but sometimes those headaches stay and they're lingering. That's one. Or you could get your eyes feeling dry and burning sensation at the end of the day. Again, you don't wake up with these feelings, but at the end of a 7 hour, 8 hour day at the office, you get this kind of strain that you experience. So that's two. The third could just be like a teary or watery eye, right? And then the fourth could be your eyes looking red and dull in the afternoon. And people will tell you, wow, your eyes kind of feel like they're not as clear as it was in the morning. That's the eye strain. So you're working really hard to see close up, but you need glasses to see better.
All right, that's good to know. Okay, second question. How do you know if your child is having challenges with their eyesight?
So it's very tricky for kids, and that's why I like that the Canadian Association has recommended starting at 6 months to get their eyes tested, because you can't really know, because again they only see what they see. They can't compare what mom sees to what they see, and especially when they have two different prescriptions or the same prescription in both eyes. So I recommend just having them get their eyes tested every year. So every year, let it be part of your routine. Go for an eye exam. Then that way you can pick up whatever they might have before they even, get to experience difficulty at school. You don't want to wait until they tell you, oh, I don't see when I'm at the back. Because again, most kids don't know.
Mm,
So it'll be hard for you to wait for the kids to tell you. The best thing is to take them to the optometrist. Make it an annual check so we can tell when there's a difference in what the optometrist had seen the year prior.
great, thank you so much. I think those are my primary questions.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you very
th-
much.
thank you, Valerie. Enor was asking a question. Enor, you want to pick up the mic and do that? All right. Yeah, maybe I wasn't so sure what she meant here, but she says, kindly talk about strain watching screen with Ted. I'm not so sure.
Uh,
Enor, when you say Ted, what do you mean?
in
Is
technology.
it, is it the program, or it's an acronym for some condition? I'm not so sure.
That's I know TED could mean thyroid eye disease.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know if that's what she's referring to, because that's something that your eyes kind of bulge. There's a bit of we call it proptosis, where your eyes bulge out, so they don't close like they should. And so if you add that to the fact that you're not blinking enough, then you're definitely going to get dry eyes. So if she's referring to TED as thyroid eye disease, that is a condition where your thyroid glands are not functioning properly, and so you also have your eyeballs bulging out, protruding, so your lids don't cover properly. So patients like that, we always say put your drops, the dry eye drops, as prophylactic. Artificial tear drops are used before they start to watch their screens, and then in between, again in the 20 minutes, 20-second break, they put another drop in.
All right. That is for those with
Yeah,
TED.
exactly. I'm going to summarize it again. So if TED refers to thyroid eye disease, that is a condition that leads to like improper blinking on its own. So if you're going to watch a screen, you want to be proactive by putting a teardrop, artificial teardrop, preservative-free drop in your eyes before you start your screen time. And when you take that 20-second break, you're going to put the drop in again.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
be prophylactic. I mean, as a proactive for nature for sure.
All right. Okay. Yeah, prophylactic. you
Yeah,
know, I was gonna tell you to break it down, right?
preventative. Let's use preventative. That's better. I just wanted to add before your other question that again I'm going to talk about omega 3, just because you guys talked about nutrition,
All
and
right.
I mentioned dry eyes, and we mentioned vitamins for the eyes. That's again something I really emphasize. Omega 3 is key. Something
Okay.
you want to live with today. The 2020 rule. omega-3 fatty acid is key and is required for proper visual development for children, brain health for adults, right?
Really?
And yeah, and then also for your tear glands, it helps with the health of your tear glands as well.
And specifically omega-3, because I
Omega,
know some patients who go out there and they see omega. There's a number of them out there.
it has to be omega-3.
Has to be three, so specific attention should be given to the three.
Yes,
All right. Oh, a number of questions keep popping up.
that's okay.
All right. Why preservative free?
Okay, so because the preservatives used to store the regular teardrops have been studied, and it's been shown that some people actually react badly, and it also aggravates the dry eyes on its own. So we're now advocating that you don't use the preservative because it could be harsh to some people. We found that some people with these preservatives, they get more dryness and they get more redness, right? So you're
Okay.
more likely going to have people react adversely to those preservatives. And because again, we do the dry eye drops a lot of times, sometimes 4 or 5 times a day, we don't want to keep adding a chemical that's not needed, right? So you're gonna have the vials come as a single use, put them in your eyes and you toss it off, right?
Okay.
But if we added the preservatives in there and we had to put the drop 4 or 5 times a day, what are we doing? We're adding the teardrop, we're adding the preservative as well. Of what benefit? So the studies out there have shown that the preservatives are more likely going to cause redness and soreness. So they decided to take it out and just offer you just the artificial teardrop. You get that in, improve your tear quality, and use as often as you need. So
Oh,
preservative free allows you, yeah, that's why I said for the thyroid eye disease, guys, they can just, after 20 minutes, put a drop in, carry on, and then later. Because there are cases where you need to put in as much as 6 to 7 drops a day,
wow.
right? Yeah, like I deal with brain injury patients too. And sometimes during vision therapy, they need, because they get the dryness because they forget to blink. So we put drops in every 20 minutes of vision therapy that lasts for an hour. So,
Oh, all right.
yeah.
Are there specific habits out there people do? I mean, people have when it comes to applying directly the eye drops that they need to do away with.
Yes, I would suggest sitting down and being comfortable. Don't try to, like, when you put the drops in, don't try to get so like aim directly into the phonics, like the lower lid, and you're touching. Because remember, they're preservative free. So if you touch, that's cross contamination to the other eye. So you want to be
Oh,
careful. Yeah, I always just say if you look in the mirror like this eye can still see the reflection of that eye and just put a drop. But if you close this eye, you're not seeing, right? So you
okay.
want to actually stare at what you're doing. Look in the mirror and just pull your lower lid down, make it like a pocket. And when you drop it in, the drop gets in there. Then you're not touching your lid. Because once you touch that
Oh,
and you go, that's a risk for
oh,
cross contamination. Yeah,
all right.
which is also why majority of the artificial teardrops that are preservative free, they come in a single vial use, so that once you break it up and you use it, you toss it out. You're not storing it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you. And on a final note, Maury, and this is on a lighter note, okay? Coming
Yeah.
from you, and from who is a layman in these things,
Yes.
there is a part of me when I'm in the optometrist clinic and bring out their big suitcase that should be filled with dollars, but filled with a lot of glasses, like millions of them, and they keep trying a lot of it. What is happening? Why don't you
Okay.
just You've checked my eyes, you've used different equipments. You should just bring out the glasses I need, right? But they keep trying different and asking me to read with this, read with that. And what is happening there, Doc?
Okay, so I'm going to explain that the part of the exam, there's the objective and the subjective aspect, right? So when we get what you need, we can't just put that on you and ask you to go. We want to make sure you actually accept that prescription. Because even when we know that you might need a certain amount, we may not give you everything if the little we give you gets you to read 2020. So I'll say that again. When I do my testing with my equipment, I get a specific number. Let's say I get 10. I don't
Okay.
want to give you the entire 10 because it might be too strong for you for your first time or second time. And the
Okay.
books and studies have shown that if five can do the work, why give that patient 10? So that's why we ask you, is it better one or two? When we're doing that, we're flipping, we're going lower, lower, and then we give you the lowest number that gets you to 2020, right?
All
So
right.
the next time you're in your optometrist clinic, you can ask, what does the printout say I need versus what have I, you know, selected? And you could see that a good optometrist will give you a lesser prescription than what you actually tested in the machine. Yeah, because we know the brain is plastic. So if we just correct you to what you can see, we don't need to overload you with a lot of minus lenses. So the check, better one or two, is to flip and see if we can get lower and refine the prescription. So that's what's happened. That's actually the most important part of the exam because whatever you say is what you're going to end up with. So you have to pay attention and say one is good, two is better, but don't say three when you only asked one or two.
Okay.
We hear that sometimes.
All right. Thank you so much,
You're
Dr. Mary.
all welcome.
Yeah, we've gone 1 hour. We need to put the 2020 rule into play here,
Bro,
as provided by Marvin. So any parting shots, any parting word for us?
I really want to emphasize getting eye exams done. Make it a habit and do it every year, especially for the kids, because we got some questions about when should my kids go? Do we wait for fourth grade? No. Every year, let it be part of how you get blood work done every year. If you do, have the kids go as an adult, even when you see 2020 and you feel like you've never had any of the complaints or symptoms have described, just make it a habit because getting an eye exam can also identify issues that may be going on with your general health. I have been able to diagnose diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure from just an eye exam. Yes, because the vessels in your retina are linked to your heart region. So those little vessels sometimes will tell the story of general health. So an eye exam is not just for digital eye strain, it's also to check the health of your your body itself through the health of your retinal vessels that are connected to your heart region. So that's what's being tested. Ask to get a scan done of the back of your eyes, get a picture of your retina, and look at those vessels with your optometrist and understand what those numbers mean and what the pictures signify. Please, please, please do this every year. It saved a lot of people. And not just diabetes, we've also had people with, early stages of central retinal artery occlusion, even a stroke. We've seen all of this with an eye exam because we can see areas of low blood supply or lack of blood supply about to happen. I've had a patient who left my clinic on her way to emerge. She had a stroke on the way. And during my eye exam, I did see it about to happen. That's why we sent her to emerge. So an eye exam saves and saves not just your sight, but also your general health. So please, please, please don't forget that.
Thank you so much. This is just more than a package. Thanks a lot,
Thank you
Maureen.
for having me.
Yeah, everybody's super grateful for this. For those of you out there who were unable to join us live, and you'll be watching this later on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. If you've got any question, we've got a graceful host who might be able to find time to respond to you. You can drop us a comment. And Dr. Maureen, it's been a pleasurable time with you. And I know there's a lot to talk about. And you just opened up a part of the eye leading to different physiological functions in the body. That's a whole new topic for another day. And I want to ask you, is it possible to get you back on this show?
Of
Maybe
course.
sometime in your less busy time, because I know you're busy. It would be great to have you back again. Thank you very much, Dr.
Not a
Mori.
problem. It will be my honor to come back. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much, our numerous viewers out there who have joined us today. Make it a date again with us in the coffee chatter. And from us all here, it is a goodbye and have yourself a beautiful weekend ahead. Bye.
Bye.